You are standing on a sidewalk. Suddenly, every bone in your body vanishes. No transition, no warning, gravity remains active. Within a fraction of a second, your physical structure ceases to exist. You are now a human-shaped puddle of meat and organs. The collapse happens instantly. Muscle tension becomes useless without a rigid frame to pull against. The skin acts as a loose bag. Internal organs, once neatly stacked, now shift downward in a chaotic slurry. The heart and lungs are compressed by the sudden weight of the upper torso. Air is forced out of the lungs in a wet, singular wheeze. You have become a biological beanbag. It is very quiet. Breathing requires a vacuum. The ribcage normally provides the rigid container necessary for the diaphragm to create this pressure difference. Without ribs, the chest cavity simply collapses into a flat disk of tissue. Every attempt to inhale only sucks the surrounding skin inward. The lungs cannot expand. Oxygen levels in the blood plummet. Carbon dioxide builds up rapidly. The brain begins to shut down due to hypoxia. Panic is a luxury you cannot afford because your facial muscles no longer have a jaw to anchor to. Your mouth is now a soft, fleshy fold. Speech is impossible. You are a conscious, suffocating pile of soft tissue resting on the concrete. This is highly suboptimal. At least your clothes still fit. For a few seconds, your shirt maintains a vague human silhouette. To a distant observer, you look like a very lazy person taking a nap in a very strange position. The sidewalk is surprisingly cold against your skin. The heart depends on a specific orientation to pump blood effectively. Now the heart is crushed under the weight of the liver and stomach. Blood pressure drops to near zero in the extremities. The vascular system becomes a series of floppy hoses. Without the support of the skeletal structure, the large veins in the neck are compressed. Cerebral blood flow stops. The brain enters a state of ischemic shock. However, the nervous system is still firing. Your nerves are sending frantic signals to muscles that have nothing to move. It feels like a full-body cramp without the benefit of a body. The skin begins to stretch under the weight of the internal organs. The structural integrity of the dermis is the only thing preventing you from spreading across the pavement like spilled jam. You are effectively a biological puddle. Environmental factors now enter the equation. A light breeze might shift your mass a few inches to the left. A passing dog finds the situation intensely interesting. Because the skull is gone, the brain is now protected only by a thin layer of scalp. The weight of the brain itself begins to flatten the frontal lobe against the pavement. Neural connections are physically crushed. Consciousness flickers like a dying light bulb. The lack of a pelvic girdle means the lower half of the body has expanded to 3 times its normal width. You are now a fleshy pancake. Blood begins to pool in the lowest points of the slurry. The chemical balance of the body shifts as organs fail in sequence. The kidneys stop filtering. The gallbladder leaks. The internal chemistry becomes a chaotic soup of enzymes and bile. Everything is sliding. The friction of the concrete is the only thing keeping you from drifting toward the gutter. This process is remarkably efficient at removing all dignity. Rain begins to fall. The water pools on your flattened surface. Without a skeleton to maintain a gap, you absorb moisture like a sponge. The surrounding pedestrians stop to stare. A crowd forms. People argue about whether this is a modern art installation or a medical emergency. A local council member arrives to discuss the zoning laws regarding biological debris on public walkways. The wind picks up because you have no rigid center. The wind begins to ripple your surface. You are essentially a human-shaped tarp. A stray cat decides to sit on your shoulder, which is now located somewhere near your left hip. The pressure of the cat causes a ripple effect that pushes your liver toward your collarbone. The biology is now purely fluid dynamics. Your mass begins to flow slowly toward the storm drain. The slope of the sidewalk is 3%. This means you are moving at a blistering pace of 2 centimeters per hour. The journey to the sewer is long and humiliating. The local police arrive to cordon off the area with yellow tape. They are unsure if you are a crime scene or a spill. Eventually, the biological system fails completely. The brain finally shuts off. You are no longer a person but a complex organic smear on the urban landscape. The city's sanitation department is called. They arrive with a high-pressure hose and a large shovel. They treat the situation with a clinical, bored professionalism. After the cleanup, the city evaluates the damage to the sidewalk. The concrete is slightly stained. The cleaning crew submits a formal request for a reimbursement of the soap used. The city council denies the reimbursement claim. They argue that the biological spill was an unauthorized use of public space. A fine is issued to your estate for littering. The paperwork is filed in a dusty cabinet. Your existence ended as a legal nuisance. Bone loss is a messy business. Next time we will see what happens if you replace your blood with liquid gold. Subscribe to the What If Club.